Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, February 24th. Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break down this Monday NHL card. And after two massive slates on Saturday and Sunday to get us going following the Four Nations break, just two games tonight. So your typical Monday, a very light card, but we will break down both games in just a bit. First of all, we'll look back on Sunday's action in the NHL. It was great to see 10 games in the NHL on a Sunday, and get used to it. There will be more Sunday games than there were earlier in the season moving forward now that football season's over and the push for the Stanley Cup playoffs is on. We began with just, a 7-3 beatdown for the Washington Capitals over the Edmonton Oilers. It was just a tremendous performance from the whole team. And look, they got off to a slow start. They fell behind early, but they quickly erased the 1-0 Edmonton lead, took a 2-1 lead after the first period. And then Edmonton actually pushed pretty hard to tie that game, and they had some chances in that second period. We have to give Charlie Lindgren credit, who got the start. He was solid. And then the mistakes happened again for the Edmonton Oilers. And on yesterday's show, we talked in the recap about how on Saturday against Philadelphia, this team really struggled in their own zone, struggled defensively, breakdowns, too many turnovers, too much breakdowns in coverage from this Oilers team. Basically happened again on multiple of those second period Washington goals. Back-to-back goals for Ovechkin, who would later record a hat trick with the empty netter to put that game away. And it was a huge hit for a lot of us in our group chat as far as that's concerned, with Ovechkin on the empty netter, which we all jumped on at around plus 400 or so.
Yeah,
that's what that price was on that. And a lot of us had Alex Ovechkin last goal 10-1 plus 1,000. And we've been talking about how it is worth your while when Washington's playing. Bet that every game moving forward, really, especially if they're going to be in a game that you expect them to lead and win, and they're going to be in a situation where the opponent's going to be pulling the goalie if they're down a goal or two late in the third period, because you know damn well they're going to look for number 8 on the ice to put that puck in the net. Into the empty net late in the game. So, like I said, it was another big day for Ovechkin. That's now scoring in every game this season as well on a second night of back-to-backs. Don't ask me why, but Alex Ovechkin has scored in every game off a back-to-back this year, and he did that again. And then the Connor McMichael goal, which really put it away at the time. It felt like it was over as it made it 5-1. It was embarrassing for Edmonton defensively, but what a play Washington made with the puck. And unfortunately, number 97 was on the ice, Connor McDavid, for that moment. And John Klingberg, man, this guy's an absolute debacle in his own zone. He stunk in his own zone in Toronto, and they finally had enough. Plus, he kept getting hurt, and he has been just abysmal defensively so far here with Edmonton. Yesterday was terrible from him. It's time to pull the plug. Too many injuries. It's just debilitated this guy. He can't keep up to the pace of the NHL these days. It's a shame. This is a guy that was an excellent defenseman his first few years when he broke in with the Dallas Stars. He was always known more for being offensive-minded and skating and power play and all that. He was never great defensively, but in Dallas, at least, he was somewhat decent defensively. He could hold his own in his own end. He can't do that anymore. He's being embarrassed, on a regular basis, and including when he was with Toronto. So it's tough to watch it, quite honestly. I'm trying to save the guy. We don't want to see someone looking like that, at this stage of their career. It's kind of sad. So it was a rough, that was definitely rough, just standing there like a totem pole on that Connor McMichael goal. But the whole Edmonton team, the last 2 days, absolutely dreadful defensively. I know Skinner and Pickard, who was in net yesterday, they probably have to be a little bit better too, but boy, oh boy, you don't push the panic button. There's going to be a lot of teams, good teams, that don't look good these first couple games out of the break, and we'll talk about Colorado in just a bit. There's another one that you have to throw in that mix. But for Edmonton, Alex, that was a dreadful game. For Washington, I mean, what more can you say? I mean, this team, they didn't even play great against Pittsburgh, and they beat them up 8-3. And then yesterday on a back-to-back, we put Lindgren in, who's, a bit of our lesser goalie compared to Logan Thompson, but no problem. We'll take care of business, and we'll beat the drum of a very good Edmonton Oilers team on a back-to-back. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say, and yet there's still skeptics about this Washington team. And, they convinced me long ago that they're here to stay. I don't know what more they can prove at this point.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And we kind of called this leading into the break. We said, wow, with no guys going to the Four Nations, most notably Logan Thompson getting snubbed, that this team can get a little bit of rest and get a little bit of energy and just pick up right where they left off. And that's exactly what they've done. And like I said, how clutch is Alex Ovechkin? The two stats that really stuck out with me. One, like you said, now 7 games this year, we're on the second leg of back-to-backs, he scores a goal. Okay, that's what you need on a team when you have those dog day, back to back, Colorado to Utah, Philly to Pittsburgh trips, to have somebody to step up and deliver on that second game. That's huge. Number 8 has done that time and time again. And then, like I said in the chat, 3 straight decades with 200 or more goals. That's just absolutely fantastic, and a testament to just his longevity, even with coming back off of the fractured leg this year. Just like I said, picking up right where he left off. He's a model of consistency. He may not be the model athlete, but he's just a damn good hockey player, and he finds a way to score every single time, every single year. It's just he's fun to watch.
No doubt. And you know what's great, too? Connor McDavid, obviously, I'm sure he's still in good spirits because of what happened with him in Canada last week. And I know he's not thrilled about the way the Oilers have come out of the break. But for him to take the time, back-to-back drubbings this weekend, and take a picture with Alex Ovechkin's kids, after the game, that was great. Cool, yeah. That was really good. It shows you what Connor McDavid, the guy that he is top class, A+.
That was also really cool to see on all 3 goals. Ovechkin skate over to his son, give him the fist bump to the glass. I thought that was a really, especially that second goal. He's literally standing right in front of him when he shoots it. That's that has to be even a greater honor now to be in this chase. And his son's now old enough to really kind of understand what's going on and stuff. That's just got to make everything feel great for him. So, like I said, we always said it for years. This team runs on number 8. So the fact that he's rolling now, the fact that you still got this team playing just as well out of the break as they were before it, like I said, if you haven't had a Washington East future, I mean, the ship has sailed obviously for the Metro, but you're still seeing 5-1, 6-1 for the East. I got a plus 750 in my pocket, so I would advise to grab that sooner than later, because I think this team, I don't see anybody slowing this team down in the best of 7 series right now. If they keep on playing this way, they're going to be one of the toughest outs, and somebody might not get them out.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where I think when you look at this Washington team, I mean, their defensive plays, I think, a lot better than people give them credit for. Their penalty kill's been very strong as well. So I think when you look at Washington, there's very little flaws in their game right now. And you look at the way Protas has played, and you look at the way Tom Wilson's played, and you look at the way McMichael's played, and they're back. Jacob Chikrin, man, this guy is. I can't believe how well he's playing right now. This is someone to watch for now as far as goal props are concerned moving forward, because he's now got 3 goals in the 2 games since returning from the break. He's jumping into the play. He's getting involved in the offense. I mean, and he's always had that offensive ability from the back end, but he's really put it on display here these first 2 games out of the break. Really impressive stuff from Jacob Chikrin.
We talk about that, how this Four Nations tournament might have boosted some guys' confidence, and he's clearly one of those guys. And it's funny, too, and you mentioned about that Connor McMichael goal. The passing that set up that goal to make it 5-1 was just absolutely a work of art. I lost it when I was just sitting here in my living room watching that play, and this just, like I said, this team's just firing on all cylinders. When you have usually that's a broken play that could possibly turn into a 2-on-1 going the other way for another team, right? But to be able to just find a little bit of puck luck along with playing well at the same time, like I said, no matter team you root for, when you see a hockey team just playing well like that, as a hockey fan, it's just something fun to watch.
It is. There's no doubt, and well deserved by Washington. And what a weekend for them with those. What was the combined score of those games? 15-6 this weekend against Edmonton and Pittsburgh. So very impressive stuff. Speaking of Pittsburgh, they lose again to the New York Rangers 5-3. This felt like a game where both teams tried their best to lose it, but eventually someone had to win it, and the Rangers did. 5-3 goes over the total thanks to a explosion in the third period in that game, but the Rangers get the better of it 5-3. And to be honest with you, Pittsburgh probably did play the better of these two teams for the majority. The first two periods was all Pittsburgh. 39-16 were the final shots on goal in favor of the Penguins. But give Shesterkin credit. This was finally a really good game from him. He's the reason the Rangers had the opportunity to come back and win this game, and they did get the 5-3 win over the Penguins. And now there's people starting to think, and I know Dan Kingerski, who covers the team for the Penguins, was writing about it, that it's time now to trade Karlsson. Well, that's fine and dandy. You want to trade Erik Karlsson, but who's going to take on that big contract? That's the problem. Yeah, they want to trade him, but who's the hell's taking that contract off Kyle Dubas' hands right now? Going to pay that kind of money for a guy like that? Yeah, that's the problem. That's the issue. It's fine you want to trade him, and you should want to trade him, but you might have your hands tied behind your back because of just the contract number that you're going to have to try to get rid of, and it's not going to be an easy one, obviously, to get rid of either. Tampa Bay, 4-1 win against Seattle. Of course, Alex Stechka got the start there for the Seattle Kraken, his first start, and Tampa Bay, and actually was only up 1-0 going into the third, but they kind of opened it up late, and they end up getting the 4-1 win there over the Seattle Kraken. Seattle continues to be just almost you either bet against them or you pass on a back-to-back. Their back-to-back record continues to be awful. Well, Detroit almost blew one again. Again, a multiple goal lead that they cannot hold, and they end up surviving this one, though, even though they have to go to overtime. They were up 4-1 at one point, but 3 unanswered goals for Anaheim, 2 late in the third period, 6-on-5 goals, 2 6-on-5 goals allowed by Detroit yesterday to turn a 4-2 lead into a 4-4 tie. They gave up the tying goal 6-on-5 against Minnesota on Saturday with Marcus Foligno scored. So that's 3 goals given up trying to protect a lead late in the third period, 6-on-5. Thankfully, Showtime, Patrick Kane to the rescue with a gorgeous breakaway goal through the wickets of Dostal for the overtime winner. And then an interesting quote from Todd McClellan in the post-game press conference saying 6-on-5, he says we have to work on it, which I agree with 100%. He's bang on. They have to work on it. But then he said something bizarre, like it's very difficult to find the time to work on that. Why? You have practices throughout the course of the season. Just spend 15 minutes doing a 6-on-5 drill. Right? I think it's very simple. What's this nonsense about, well, it's difficult to find the time to put it in? What are you talking about, man? Just put it in at practice. Just do it. Just run a 6-on-5 drill. I don't think it's that difficult. I was trying to make sense of what he was saying there, and I couldn't.
No, it makes 0 sense. And even if, okay, fine, after having, like you said, 3 goals given up in a 6-on-5 situation, maybe you drop something for a day and just start working on that for a little bit.
Like
it's not necessarily you got to
play and penalty kill and 5-on-5. Well, you clearly have to work on 6-on-5 because it cost you the Minnesota game, and it damn near almost cost you this game against a team you needed to beat, Anaheim. So clearly you got to work on it. Find the damn time is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a wild quote, and even if that's absolutely true, okay, which that's crazy in itself. But why would you say that to the media of all things? That that now you've let us know that you are clearly not managing your practice time well and working on the things that you obviously looking at previous tape over back in the last couple of games, and that's an important situation. Especially when you're looking at where you are in the grand scheme of things, where we talk about, okay, you're down 1, you're down 2, or you're up 1 late, trying to avoid, get into that 3rd point range. That's something you need to work on in the second half of the season. It's something or at least most of the 32 teams in the league need to work on this time of year.
They absolutely do. I can't believe. First of all, it's very important. Second of all, to hear that we will see if we can find time. I'm not sure we can. Do you realize how many games in the Stanley Cup playoffs are decided because a team 6-on-5 is able to hold a 1-goal lead? You know how many games come down to that extra attacker, empty net scenario in a Stanley Cup playoff game? I mean, how the hell do you not make time for it if you're struggling with it as a team? That decides so many of these close, competitive 1-goal playoff games. You're going to need to be able to defend 6-on-5 when the opponent has pulled the goalie and has the extra attacker. You're going to have to because, so many playoff games. Look at Edmonton, Florida, Game 7, 6-on-5. Florida had to defend to win their first Stanley Cup as a franchise. So you'd better make time to try to address it and practice it and get better at it.
You go through and watch the majority of just any clinching games. Don't never mind the entire series, just the clinching games in the final minutes. If it wasn't settled on a game-winning goal in overtime, it most likely was settled on a flurry of shots and saves late in the contest. I think about the 2015 Stanley Cup Final, Game 6. Corey Crawford standing on his head to preserve the shutout in the 2-0 win. He faced about 8 shots in the last minute of that contest. You have to have it. And if you don't have the defensemen who are able to defend that position, you damn sure need to have a quality goalie, which we know you don't have because you can't trust Cam Talbot in a big spot. You can't trust Alex Lyon in a big spot.
And the third goal,
you got to work on
the
something.
third goal was a bad one. That's just a terrible goal. You got to stop that. Yep. Got to have that one. There's no doubt. That's an interesting point by Jonathan. He says, I've never, and he's been, Jonathan's goes to a lot of hockey games, has been to a lot of hockey games in his lifetime. In my 30 plus years covering the game, I've never seen teams work on 6-on-5 at practices. And
really?
That's actually, I'm really stunned by that.
And that would also explain why all these empty net goals are being missed, all these empty net chances for the last 5 or 6 years almost. So yeah, maybe teams should start doing that.
I would do that. I would break the mold if I was a head coach, especially seeing it now with my own 2 eyes, what's happening with Detroit these last 2 days. Practice it. Practice how to defend, get in the shooting lane, how to function when there's 6 guys on the ice and we've got 5. Because it's different. There's definitely some nuances defending 6-on-5 that are different from, say, standard 5-on-4. When it's just a regular power play penalty kill situation. So I'm sure there's things that, hey, it's a little different from 5-on-4 defending 6-on-5. So let's work on it. And let's practice our empty net precision as well, which I know a lot of teams need to work on. Yeah.
Even if you aren't trying for the empty net goal, even if you're trying to do the whole chip and kill time, you should still be working on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm actually surprised that that's not. I mean, you don't have to do that every day or even every week, but certainly when you hit a time like this where Detroit, this 6-on-5 situation, it cost them a point against Minnesota, and it almost cost them another point yesterday against Anaheim. So I'd have to address it and find some way to incorporate that into my practices. Yeah.
If they miss out the wild card because of 2 or 3 points, we know what games to look back on.
Yeah, no doubt. New Jersey, credit to them. They put the boots to Nashville. We all like New Jersey. It was a great spot, bounce back spot, 5-0. So Devils and the team total over. Unfortunately, I also thought Colorado was in a good spot, and I expected them to take care of business. They did not, losing 3-1 to St. Louis. I must say, I deserve to lose that one because part of the handicap was I thought Binnington would be a little rusty, maybe a little emotional letdown and hangover after the big gold championship win for Canada. They did actually get a gold medal, so we can say gold medal win for Canada in the Four Nations face-off. He was excellent again. Really, really strong, Binnington. 28 saves on 29 shots, and Colorado gets basically held down. 1 goal against Nashville, 1 goal against St. Louis in their return to action in the 2 games following the break. 5-2, Toronto gets the job done against Chicago. I feel like I watched the same movie with Chicago. They have a great start. They come out humming. They're actually the better team in the first period over Toronto, and then they get worse as the game goes on. And we saw that again. And then Toronto asserted themselves. They had the 3-goal second period, and then they played a pretty good road third period to close it out and get the 5-2 win over the Chicago Blackhawks on the very final night behind the great pipe organ for Frank Pellico. They did a nice tribute to him last night. Too bad they couldn't get him the win, but again, a great career. 33 years from 1992 he started, and that was back when they were still at the old Chicago Stadium. So I know it was a very special night sending Frank Pellico out the way he should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's unfortunate he couldn't get the victory for him, but that was a great moment on the Jumbotron. And to see all those old videos and clips and stuff, he always had the great smile and playing at the organ. And I don't know, for those who, Hawks fans who noticed, he always had a little banner right on his organ that was kind of designed like all the banners that hang, the title banners. I'm hoping that they put that up in the rafters for him. He deserves that honor. Like I said, 33 years and a lot of memories of hearing him playing that organ. In both barns, Chicago Stadium and the United Center. So it was great to see that. But unfortunately, the game on the ice, not as good to see. We thought, Arvid Soderblom, he always gets up for Toronto. And it wasn't a bad game by him necessarily, but, the rest of the team is kind of like
Seth Jones on that one. What was Seth Jones doing on the third goal? I couldn't believe that. Just horrific. My gosh, man. I mean, especially when you know that there's no help in front of the net
Yeah.
for that Robertson goal. You can't be going into the corner like that. My goodness.
That's what he
Terrible.
that's what he does. That's what he
Yeah.
does, and that's why I hope he gets traded before the 6th. But this is just and like I said, that's the thing. This team, and I said that, in the first game where I had Columbus money line, this is now a point where in first period over, we might have to start just kind of looking away at that, because I think the bigger fish to fry here is just fading the Hawks. Especially when it's in a worthwhile range. If you can lay $1.15, $20, $40, even on a money line, regulation money line, I should say, it's worth taking it, because this team, it's not going to look the same in a week and a half from now. We know that. And obviously, at that point, it's all going to be about developing the young guys, just letting them get time, letting them make mistakes, work things out at the NHL level. That means we can be fading them. That means team totals against who knows if one of the two goalies. I mentioned Arvid Soderblom at the beginning of the season getting traded just because he sucks. Now we're talking about he's possibly the second best UFA or RFA available at the deadline. Hawks may be able to move him and get something for him, man. So a crazy flip of a story there, but that's something that we'll see moving forward.
Yeah, no question. So Toronto gets that win 5-2, and like I said, with the gaff on that goal from Jones, if you're going to go to the corner, you have to separate the man from the puck or get the puck. You have to get one of the two has to happen. You can't miss the puck. You can't not take the man and then get neither. And especially when nobody is in front of the net. And it was just a bad gaff. It was a really bad gaff. And it was a big goal at the moment. That moment in the game for Toronto as well, helping them to victory. So there was 2 goals from Nick Robertson in that game. His brother Jason was playing at the same time for the Dallas Stars, and he got a hat trick, helping the Dallas Stars to a 4-3 win over the New York Islanders last night. The Islanders got it to within 1, but Dallas was able to hang on for the win. So a hat trick for Jason Robertson in the victory, and a nice weekend for Dallas. They beat New Jersey on Saturday, and then they win on the back-to-back against the New York Islanders 4-3. Really solid weekend for the team. Obviously, Jason Robertson, the hat trick, Nick Robertson for Toronto with the 2 goals. So the brothers had 5 goals combined. It's the first time in 20 years, I believe, is what I saw, for brothers to score multiple goals on the same night. It hasn't happened since Pavel and Valerie Bure, and that's going back in time. Pavel and Valerie Bure, the last brother combination in the NHL to score multiple goals on the same night. So pretty interesting that it's been that long. I also want to mention, because this game had a scary incident, so did the Detroit game, how Trevor Zegras got no penalty on the play for the Rasmussen hit is absolutely absurd. What a disaster.
Crazy.
What an absolute disgrace by the officiating crew. What do you do? Are you staring up at the sky? Are you playing tiddlywinks? What could you possibly be doing as an official for both guys to miss it, not see it? How is that possible? What are you looking at if you're not looking at the play and what's going on right in front of you? That was a horrific miss by the officials in Detroit, because that was definitely should have been at least and now Trevor Zegras is going to get supplemental discipline for it. And that should have been a penalty at the very least. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Dallas-New York Islanders game had Leon Bichel ended up getting smoked, side of the head there by Casey Cizikas. They did give that not just a penalty, a major penalty to Casey Cizikas. So similar plays. There's not even a call against Zegras for Anaheim on Rasmussen against Detroit, and yet they give 5 in a game and a major to Casey Cizikas there for the New York Islanders on Leon Bichel and the hit he laid on him for Dallas. So no consistency. There you go. We talk about this. Now, I said this in our chat. I have a little leniency for the NHL refs when they have this issue with, with games like this where it's no consistency, one game to the next, one crew to the next, because of how bloody fast the game is. It's not always easy to keep up. But at the same point in time, it's wild how there was not even a penalty on Zegras, and yet as Cizikas, very similar incident, he does get 5 in a game. It's wild, crazy.
Yeah, it is, and the more egregious hit was the Zegras hit, in my opinion. If you're gonna call, if there's one you could possibly let up, because you could say, oh, it was kind of a bang play. It's the Zegras hit on Bichel. So and of course then that leads to the fight. So he gets a toss for the fight as well. Dumba got the conduct for the fight. So it just ended up being just a calamity of shit. And like I said, there's got to be some consistency. We talk about it all the time with these referees, and of course whatever suspensions are handed out. But it's a mess right now. And maybe the refs need to wake up from the break too. They had time off as well. So I don't know.
I think Trevor Zegras was caught on camera saying "no way, no way, no way" multiple times. So maybe he got his way because he was saying that. Who the hell knows? But he was definitely doing his part to try to make sure he didn't get anything on that play. But a great win there for Dallas. But the concern is Bischel's health moving forward. Remember, they're already without Miro Heiskanen. So the last thing Peter DeBoer needs is another injury on the blue line right now for Dallas. But nevertheless, they find ways down to 5D. The rest of that game, still able to get the win. 2-1 Utah. They beat Vancouver. The heat on Pettersson's being turned up tenfold because Rick Talk had apparently said an interesting quote after this game. I think he's almost at the point where he's beyond frustrated with Elias Pettersson at this point in time, and it's not pretty. Now I think that some of the stuff that was shown that he said after the game wasn't in the scrum, wasn't in the post-game media, but he said he's not moving his feet. He's hesitant when he has the puck on his stick. We got to tell him, shoot that damn puck. Like it's almost like he's got a mental block. This was all the stuff that Rick was saying, and it's hard to argue with it. He looks like a guy that's got zero confidence. He looks like a guy going through a mental block right now. And Vancouver Canucks are livid. They're livid and they're scared. They're livid because they know this guy is capable of much better than this. They're scared because we paid this guy over $11 million, and we're not getting anywhere close to our return on investment right now. And we can't move this deal. We can't move this contract. We can't move this off our books in any kind of trade. Who the hell's taking Elias Pettersson now at over 11 per with the way he's playing right now? You'd have to be the most gullible GM in the league to do that at this point in time. So there's real issues here, Alex. They're not scoring now either. 9 goals in the last 5 games. It's not going to cut it. And I will link this to the Calgary game because they beat San Jose in regulation 3-2. Unfortunately, we were both hoping for one more goal from Calgary. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. But 3-2 Calgary gets the win there. And now they are 1 point behind the Vancouver Canucks for that final wild card spot in the Western Conference. And I see one team Calgary's had their ups and downs, but I still see right now a little more upward trajectory in the Calgary Flames, especially another great effort from Dustin Wolf. I thought he was very good once again. And you're seeing Vancouver kind of going this way again, a little bit down. And it's concerning. And now Vancouver, if they're going to make the playoffs, EP40 has to be more of an impact than he is right now. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're still waiting, and we haven't seen it. It's alarming, Alex. And Vancouver and Calgary, these two teams neck and neck for that final wild card spot, and Calgary closed the gap even more, 1 point behind Vancouver after last night.
I mentioned it yesterday about betting Vancouver to miss the playoffs plus 225. Today I'm going to be adding a little bit on Vancouver or Calgary, I should say, to make the playoffs. It was plus 400 yesterday. I got to shop around and see what the best price is. But those are two positions that I'm strong on right now. I just don't see where Vancouver gets out of this hole. I just think it's going to get worse. He said Pettersson. Either you send him down to the AHL and try to let him work this confidence off for a week, but then now you're missing a key piece for a week. So it's frustrating at this point. What do you do if you're Vancouver? You can't just go make some big trade between now and the 7th and shake things up and hope things get back on track. So like I said, that they're stuck right now. Where Calgary, I think they can make a couple of smaller moves, get themselves into a position to leapfrog them, maybe leapfrog a couple other teams, get in that postseason picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's so there's definitely, and now of course Demko still on IR. You're gonna have to rely on Lankinen and Shelovs for now. Of course, primarily Lankinen, who got the contract extension. So, and of course they got Calgary breathing down their neck. And remember, Calgary made moves to push to make the playoffs. Craig Conroy went out and got Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, from the Philadelphia Flyers. That's clearly a GM that's interested in making the playoffs, even though we all thought. And I'll be honest, I would have thought, are you nuts before the season, Vancouver to miss the playoffs, and you're betting Calgary to make the playoffs? But here we are, and it's very possible that's indeed exactly what we see. Because right now, it's hard to argue that. How are you not with your own 2 eyes, the eye test? When you watch these teams, how do you not become more impressed with what you're seeing out of Calgary right now? And the way Nazem Kadri's playing, like he's playing phenomenal. Right now for the Calgary Flames for them. Huberdeau's had a good year. These youngsters have really stepped up here, no doubt. And Quinn Hughes needs to be back, Jonathan, 100%. That's what we're going to find out if Vancouver can get their shit together when Quinn Hughes is back, because he's that important. And we've just seen it. They're not even close to the same team without him. Let's see how they play when they do have Quinn Hughes back before we make the final referendum on Vancouver. But they're going to need him back, and they're going to need him playing at that high level he was before. So, like I said, and yeah, Dakota Joshua, you're right. With his, he has had the medical concerns. There's been a lot of stuff going on for Vancouver. And like I said, they are now in a battle to make the playoffs, because I'll tell you what, after the season they had last year, the turnaround renaissance year for Rick Tocchet, missing the playoffs this year would be beyond disappointing if that were to happen. All right, we've got 2 games here on this Monday night NHL slate, and we will begin with It's on Monday. It's only on Prime. It is our Monday night Amazon Prime game. San Jose Sharks, Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg minus 480, home favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the under here in this game. Alex will not be thinking twice about his choice of broadcast for this game tonight. Randy Hahn for the Sharks, south of the border, or the Amazon Prime broadcast with Johnny Forsland. I don't think it's going to be much of a decision.
Amazon Prime.
No. San Jose and Winnipeg. Here we go. This is an angle that we have talked about throughout the course of this season, especially the last month or two, where when we're getting into this minus 300 favorite range or higher, and especially the minus 400 range or higher favorite, it's been an incredible display of how well the underdog has started these games, and the logic is there for it. You've got certainly a Winnipeg team, or the superior team, when they're favored by this much. They know they're playing one of the worst teams in the NHL when you're favored in a price range like this. And oftentimes it's a sleepy start. You're not sharp early in the game. The other team, comes in and has a little point to prove because they're playing one of the best teams in the NHL, and they bring it early in the game. And sometimes it takes a while for that superior team to flex that superiority over the inferior team. The point I'm getting at is what we've talked about in these kind of spots with the big favorites, especially minus 400 or more, is how often the big underdog has scored a goal in the first period. 13 times in 17 games when there's been a favorite of minus 400 or more. 13 of those 17 games, the big underdog has scored a goal in the first period. And we've been on this trend a little bit lately, riding it. Took it with Chicago a couple of times, taken it a couple other times with other teams when they've been facing a minus 400 or greater favorite. And look, San Jose scored quickly last night against Calgary as well. That is something to keep in mind. Winnipeg also gave up a goal in the first period in their first game back from the Four Nations break when they took on the St. Louis Blues. So when you look at it, there's definitely potential for Winnipeg to give up a goal early. And you factor in that tonight, this will be Connor Hellebuck's first start back from the Four Nations tournament for the Winnipeg Jets after starting in the championship game for Team USA against Canada. And even though Binnington was very good for St. Louis as that game went on last night, he gave up a goal in the first period against the Colorado Avalanche, that first start back from the Four Nations break. So, yeah, and you can get plus 120 on this. A very good price for San Jose to score a goal in the first period. I like it. I don't want the money line on San Jose because I don't know if I trust them for a full 60 minutes here against the Winnipeg Jets, especially with Vitek Vanacek in net, who maybe is slightly better than Georgiev, but it's not really saying a whole lot. But he's definitely had struggles this year when he has gotten the nod for San Jose. 3-9, 4. Dead on 4 goals against average. .878 save percentage for Vitek Vanacek going into this start. I'm going with over trifecta in this game as well. I'm going with San Jose to score in the first period, plus 120. Over 1.5 in the first period. Both teams to score in the first period, which you can get a really good price, north of plus 200 on that, with both teams to score in the first period. And I'm also going to go full game over. Full game over is 5.5 with juice at some books. I'm going to opt to bet that instead of the 6 at even money, just because, big difference between 5.5 and 6. 5.5 minus 125 at Fanatics Sportsbook. So definitely a good price, good number with that. I think definitely you're going to see this. San Jose, I think, can get on the board early, and Winnipeg will have to open the game up. And I think we'll end up getting the 6 goals we need here. So over trifecta, along with, and probably my favorite look is that San Jose to get one in the first period at plus 120 in this game. Hellebuck hasn't played since Thursday, and the intensity of that championship game, he may give up an early one, much like his adversary in the title game. Jordan Binnington did last night for St. Louis. So I like all these. I really do. I think these are all good, solid looks here for this San Jose Winnipeg game. Alex, what do you think here? Sharks, Jets.
So I have those same 4 bets as you, but I'm adding a little bit more on this one. San Jose to score a goal in the first 10 minutes, plus 250 available at Bet Online. So, like I said, same thought process. There should be goals here. And like I said, San Jose can start early. That wakes up the sleeping giant. And then Jets can go around and score 5 or 6 of their own, give us all the overs. So that would shock me one bit. Definitely over trifecta. And I think I'm actually heaviest. I'm looking back. Yeah, I am. I got plus 205 on that, both teams to score. So that's actually my heaviest look. Both teams to score. This is the play I like the most. Then first period over. Then full game over. 5.5. I laid 130 at FanDuel with that. And then San Jose, any goal in the first period and goal in the first 10 minutes, plus 250.
There you go. Like I said, well, and I like that you're going for the extra big plus money there with San Jose to score in the first 10 minutes. And that's another thing you can do. We talk about the goal in the first 10 minutes and how good it's been for a lot of different teams, but also goal in the first 10 minutes for a specific team to score in the first 10 minutes of the game certainly is worth a look. So there you go. Alex going one step further. Yeah, take the plus 120 to score in the first period, but one step further, plus 250. San Jose to get a goal in the first 10 minutes of the game. Yeah, William Eklund's good to go. No suspension for him. He is playing tonight for San Jose in this one. I'm right there with Jonathan with Perfetti. Perfetti was starting to play really well before the break, and certainly the numbers and his success against Vanacek, it goes without saying. He's been able to score against him quite a bit. Toffoli, worth a look here for San Jose. He scored against his old team last night in that game for the San Jose Sharks. You know what I think, too? Will Smith had a ton of chances last night. Really did. I mean, he had 2 shots on goal. They were great chances. I could maybe see him finding the back of the net. Goes without saying Celebrini's always a threat, but Will Smith really could have scored a couple of goals last night for San Jose against Calgary, and Dustin Wolf thwarted him. So keep an eye on him. He certainly had a chance to find the back of the net last night in that game. And yes, Josh Morrissey is indeed back in the lineup tonight as well for the Winnipeg Jets. We remember he was out of the lineup against for Canada, I should say, in the Four Nations, and missed the first game against St. Louis on Saturday night. But he is back and will be on that blue line, back paired with Dylan DeMello for the Winnipeg Jets on that top pair once again. And Gabe Vilardi's just on a heater right now. What more can you say? Gabe Vilardi's been great, so no shame in looking toward Gabe Vilardi props tonight either in this game. All right, the second game of this Monday night slate, Vegas, Los Angeles. And the way it's set up is we've kind of got a doubleheader on our hands because San Jose Winnipeg is 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and this game is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Pretty much even money here. Actually, Vegas a slight road favorite here, minus 115, 5.5 the total here in this game. I mean, this is Kings or pass for me personally. I mean, this home record for LA has just been absolutely phenomenal for them. The way they played on home ice, no question about that. See if that continues here tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas in a weird game against Vancouver where they absolutely dominated the Canucks very early in that game and could have been up 4-0 in the first period. Lankinen was just remarkable in the first period. But then Vancouver hung around and Vegas took the lead early in the third. And from the moment Vegas scored that 2-1 goal against Vancouver, Vancouver dominated them in the third period. And Aiden Hill, it was one of the best periods of hockey I've seen out of him all year. He was amazing in the third period to keep Vancouver down 2-1. And eventually Vegas and Tomas Hertl put it away into the empty net to give Vegas that 3-1 win against Vancouver in their first game out of the break. But that's a good sign for Bruce Cassidy and for the Vegas Golden Knights that Aiden Hill had that kind of a third period. He had to be dazzling to maintain that lead, and he sure was for the Vegas Golden Knights. They have won 3 in a row. They won against Boston and New Jersey on the road before the break, and then they come out of the break with that 3-1 win. You look at series history, LA beat them 6-3 the last time these teams played, and it was at Crypto back in October. And then before that, they played in Vegas, and it was 6-1 for the Golden Knights the week before that. So these teams haven't played since October. Finally, these division rivals meeting up again. I'm gonna go with LA here. I mean, for a team that's 18-3-2 at home, That's just an outstanding home record. The minus 105. See, Vegas is a minus 115 road favorite here. I would add LA the minus 115 favorite here, or even minus 120, I think, with just how great they've been at home. So I think there is value on the Kings here in this one. I think the draw is in play. I could see this maybe going to overtime potentially. We do remember that the LA has gone to a shootout in 2 of their last 3 games entering this one. And the game in LA, not this the last game in LA, but the time before that when they played here in LA, the game between these two teams did go to a shootout. So I think the draw could be in play here in this one. And I know in our group chat, our good friend, of course, Mikey, you see him here on the show routinely. We're going to have to find another day for him because Mondays he's working again. Because Monday had been his day. But we'll try to get him on again a few more times when he has his day free from work. We'll get him on again. But I know he was mentioning how it's just been over Palooza with Kings versus Golden Knights. When you look at the series history, and especially in LA, what we've seen from these games where we saw 4-3, 4-2, 4-3, 6-3. The games in Vegas, there have been some unders. The games in LA, 4-3, 4-2, 4-3. And then 6-3 earlier this season. So all these games in LA, for some reason, between these two teams have gone over the total. So I'm going to bet the over here, small 5.5, just because of that. But also LA and the draw for me here. Alex, what do you think here? Vegas, Los Angeles.
So I grabbed draw pregame in this one. I got plus 310. Shop around. This may be one where you if you really like the draw, you might have to grab something below 300, which I usually don't advise, or wait for a goal in the game. And then that should be bumped up to about plus 325, 330. Also, we'll be waiting for the over by factor in game. I'm seeing a minus 106 right now for the first period over. Like I said, we got 5.5 at a pick and price. So just waiting for it. If I'm seeing the pace that I like and we can get a crossover in the plus money territory, I'll be jumping on both of those. And of course, I'll have those plays officially sent out through our Patreon chat over there at patreon.com/iceguys.
Props that stand out for me for LA. I'll tell you right now, 4 guys. Warren Fogle, 2 goals in the last 4 games, and take your pick from anyone on the third line for them right now. It's their quote-unquote third line, but it's often played like their top line lately. I'm talking about Quentin Byfield, Kevin Fiala, and Alex Laferriere. That line has been beyond good lately for the Los Angeles Kings. They've been spectacular, in fact. I mean, Kevin Fiala, man. This guy has played amazing hockey. He has got 2, 4, 5, 6 goals in the last 5 games. He's had multi-point games in 4 of the last 5 games. I mean, it's all Kevin Fiala right now. Jonathan Davis made the point, because he follows this Kings team throughout the season, that he has never seen Kevin Fiala play as well as he is right now. I would agree. I don't think I've ever seen Kevin Fiala play this well. This kind of a heater. 6 goals in the last 5 games, 2 points in 4 of the last 5 games. He's had multi-point games 4 of the last 5. So he is on a absolute heater right now for the Kings, no doubt.
It is the best streak he's probably been on in his entire career. But as Terry Edelman mentions in the chat, we both know, watching him up here in Minnesota, he's streaky. He's streaky. He can get hot like that, and then all of a sudden he goes radio silent for about 10 games. So that's the thing. Can he be a little bit more consistent with this streak? That's going to be huge for LA.
No doubt. And Alex Laferriere with 2 goals in the last 3 games for the Los Angeles Kings. He's been a great fit on that line as well. And again, he's not French-Canadian. Stop with that. I'm still hearing that nonsense. He's not from Quebec, man. He's from New Jersey. He's American. Just can't assume a guy with a name Laferriere. It's like Guy Hebert for the Anaheim Ducks on their broadcasts in the intermissions. He's not French-Canadian. He's not from Quebec. He's American. Guy Hebert. Come on. You can't just assume that. Oh, man, I never stop getting a kick out of that when they assume he's from Quebec. Or Guy Hebert, for that matter. People still think Guy Hebert's from Quebec, too. On the Anaheim broadcast, doing the intermission shows. But nevertheless, as far as Vegas, you look at their props, Barbashev, Eichel, and Olofsson, Dorofeyev, Hurdle. There's an interesting one here if you want to take a flyer on him here, because he's been called up from the American Hockey League for this Golden Knights team, and he's played a couple of games now. Looks like he might be on the second line tonight for them. Raphael Lavoie. It looks like playing on the second line with Hurdle and Dorofeyev tonight. So, again, you're definitely going to get some value looking to Raphael Lavoie, given his spot in the lineup for sure. There's no question about it. Good stuff. Yeah, he's on the French side of Jersey. Yeah, there you go. Good stuff there from. That's exactly it. Yeah,
That's
if you want to.
good.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, well, I'll try to tell those people that. Yeah, he's on the French side. All right, of New Jersey. Yeah. Good stuff indeed. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We do want to mention we want to hammer this home, and because of the fact we really want as many of our viewers and listeners as possible to be on Patreon, be a member, because we're going to give so much great stuff is on the way for our Patreon members for just $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. First of all, our live betcast this Thursday. Free for all betcast, open to the public this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday, February 27th. But we are only going to have 2 betcasts in the month of March because of the NCAA tournament, because it's just going to take up too much of our time and especially my time and attention to be able to have a ton of betcasts in March. But we promise to you, we will make up for it in April. We're going to have that's going to be a ton of betcasts. It's betcasts left and right coming in April. For the end of the regular season, and then once we get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So because of the tournament, only 2 March betcasts, but they are both going to be Patreon exclusive betcasts for our Patreon members, Thursday, March the 6th, and Tuesday, March the 25th, both of them at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So again, those will be only exclusive to Patreon members for viewing and joining us on the stream. And new feature to the Patreon page for our members, our live chat room and our live wager posting chat room, which we've already implemented this weekend. And we've posted some winners there for you already. And again, I'll drop in with some comments and some live bets. Alex will as well. But it's also meant for you guys to fraternize amongst yourselves, chat it up, say, meet, exchange opinions, talk NHL, talk about the games, talk about your bets, all of that good shit. So the live chat is now up and running on the Patreon page for our Patreon members. So again, all that and more, all of it for just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, and of course our daily card, sides, totals, player props every day on the Patreon page. It helps support the show. Just $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You got 2 days left to get free standard shipping on all items in the store. Just click on the redeem page at the top of the home page, I should say, and then add everything to your cart, and free standard shipping will be available as you go through checkout. So we have everything all in stock right now. A couple of new items coming soon as well. So don't miss out. Check that out. 2 days left, free standard shipping. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There we go. Yeah, I don't mind Brandon. Brandon Saad scored a big goal for them against Vancouver on Saturday night. Brandon Saad, and maybe that gets him going a little bit with his new team, the Vegas Golden Knights. And that's interesting stat there about Pearson. Plus 650 for Vegas's Tanner Pearson. 6 goals in 17 games versus Darcy Kemper, tonight's projected starting goaltender for the Los Angeles Kings in this one. Yeah, regarding Hal's question, it's monthly. It's $10 per month, the monthly payments. There is a yearly option, actually. You can subscribe to a yearly option, but that's totally up to you to go whether monthly or yearly. So it's totally in your hands there, Hal, which one you choose. All right, there you go. Good stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Again, we'll be right back. We've got Bargain Bin Special of the night and Best Bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page.
Shout out to all our great sponsors, including Boston Hemp Inc. To get 20% off all orders on the website using the promo code Ice Guys at bostonhempinc.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night. Alex, 2 games to choose from. What do you got?
Let's go with the early game. Talk about San Jose taking on Winnipeg. And we said we like stuff early. We like San Jose early. So let's go with Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of the Bay Area. Anytime goal, plus 550. First goal, plus 3,200. Both available at FanDuel. So we'll double up with Will Smith. First goal, anytime goal. Those are my bargain bin specials for Monday night.
There you go. Mr. Fresh Prince, yes, Will Smith, plus 550, anytime goal, and a little small shot on the first goal of the game. Will Smith, San Jose Sharks for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. My bargain bin special of the night, I'm going to go to the second game, the late game, Vegas and LA. He's right on the fringe, but just enough to make it bargain bin worthy. Plus 300 for the LA Kings tonight. Alex Laferriere, the guy they think is from Quebec, but he's not. Alex Laferriere for the Los Angeles Kings, plus 300 at Bet365, just good enough to make it into bargain bin candidacy. And he's got 2 goals in the last 3 games for the Los Angeles. And that line has been terrific. Him with Byfield and Fiala have been just an outstanding line for the LA Kings of late. And I think any Fiala props are worth a look. You ride the heater until it stops. And it will stop at some point because it always does for Kevin Fiala. But right now, he's feeling it right now for the Kings. But I'll go with Alex Laferriere, his line mate, plus 300 for the Los Angeles Kings tonight for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this Monday card. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Let's go Sharks, Jets, both teams to score in the first period. You can get plus 205 on that at FanDuel. We like goals here early and often, hoping San Jose can get the first one, and then maybe Winnipeg gets the second one. So both teams to score in the first, plus 205 available. That's my Monday best bet.
There you go. Both teams to score first period, San Jose and Winnipeg. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. My best bet will also come from that game. We're going to take San Jose to score in the first period, plus 120 is the price you can get with that. I don't mind taking a shot with them first period money line. I know first period plus a half on the puck line. I know a couple people have bet that as well. I don't know if San Jose is keeping them off the Winnipeg off the score sheet, though, in the first period. That way, if I bet them to score in the first period, all I have to worry about is what they do offensively, not what they do defensively. And that's why I prefer this route. So, again, 13 of the 17 games this season, an underdog when facing a favorite of minus 400 or higher has scored a goal in the first period. So that's what we're rocking with for best bet tonight. San Jose Sharks, goal in the first period, plus 120 for my best bet here for this Monday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. Reminder, Thursday night, live betcast, free for all. Very much looking forward to that. And by the way, tomorrow's show, I believe our guy, Matt Robinson, we haven't seen him in a while on the show, but he'll be back. It looks like tomorrow on the show. It's been a while. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll be back with you tomorrow on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.